Well, here we are, Friday, March 24th, 2023. I'm Larissa. My video diary. Oh my god. I already drank from Skulls. Now I'm having coffee. Oh, my period is awful. It really is. Ugh. It's so bad. Mm. So, I don't think I'm going to be working at the gallery today. I don't think so. I think I'm going to have to close the gallery today. And I feel bad because I'm supposed to have an event tonight, but it's not like anybody ever shows up to my events anyway. But I'm still have to go put a sign on the door. So, normally, I quit being a blood cannon around like 10:30, something like that. So when it's bad and the cramps are real bad, I lay flat and it kind of like slows the bleeding. It's not it's like it's messy, right? Oh my god. This is a lot of information, but my period is not like other periods. It's I don't have it's not a normal. I have period on steroids. It's bad. It makes mess. When I go in to sit down on the toilet, it squirts. I frequently have to clean up the floor, and it's not fun. No, 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 not fun, not fun. So, yeah, I just after the week I've had, I just don't want to deal. I just don't want to deal. Yeah, for the week I've had, I don't want to deal. Yeah. I've kind of had a stressful week. Not that I'm special or anything. Lots of people have had a stressful week. Oh, lots of people have. I'm just saying. Taking care of me today. Made a pot of soup yesterday. Oh, pot of mushroom soup. Mushrooms. White button mushrooms. Like if you're gonna make foods that are like, I cook medicinally frequently. Not always, but I cook medicinally. I do. I consider the nutritional and health benefits of the herbs and ingredients that I use when I'm cooking. So, and I choose things that I'm going to make frequently based on, what it is we need. And this time of year, all of the molds and funguses and things and that you have allergies to. Fungus, not all funguses are bad. And mushrooms are really, really good for the immune system. The culinary ones. And you can get all kinds of fancy ones and stuff like, reishi mushroom or whatever. But when you're looking at mushrooms that you eat, that are common, the white button mushroom, that humble white button mushroom, it packs a punch. It does. It packs a good immune system supporting punch. So I had a nice big package of these beautiful white button mushrooms. Yeah. And I quartered them and had a nice big sweet white onion and a couple tomatoes and some carrots and some celery and some lovely sage and rosemary and bay leaf and pepper and lots of garlic. And I made a real nice pot of soup. It was real good. It was really, really good. Really hit the spot. When you eat things, I mean, there's foods that taste good, because they're bad for you too. But when you're eating something that your body needs, when you're eating something that is truly nourishing you, it tastes extra delicious. That soup was extra delicious yesterday. Mushroom soup, white button mushrooms, white button mushrooms. Yum yum. Mushrooms are full of B vitamins too. Yeah, they are. White button mushrooms. Other things to do with mushrooms. Oh, well, you can stuff mushrooms. You can put mushrooms in sauce. You can have raw mushrooms in some mushrooms you can eat raw. Some of them are like weird raw. But white button mushrooms you can eat raw, sliced in salads. You can. You put them in sandwiches. You put them in omelets. You make risotto. What else with mushrooms? Oh, you can put them in. There's a there's another there's an Indian dish with tomato, cashew, turmeric sauce, mushrooms and peas. It's really good. It's just like mushrooms and gravy, right? And you put it on rice. It's good. Mushrooms are whole in that dish. They're supposed to be whole. You do mushroom and onions sauteed in butter, and put them on your toast. Oh, that's good. Make like a gravy, but then you're making gravy. I like mushrooms. I do. I used to have a whole bunch of dried wood ear mushrooms, and they're missing out of my cabinet. They are. I had a little jar full of wood ear mushrooms because I was going to break some of those up and put those in there too, because those wood ear mushrooms they add flavor and stuff too. Somebody took my wood ear mushrooms. Now, people steal stuff out of my kitchen all the time. Things that I found missing out of my kitchen recently. I had all my New Mexico chilies are missing. I had a jar of New Mexico chilies that were seeded and ground, and they're all gone. I seeded and ground them. My wood ear mushrooms are missing. What else? There was something else down there. I was like, oh, what is that? That's missing. Specialty ingredients, things that I hold on to that I use for special things, right? Mm. Mm. Oh, I had a bunch of onions one time stolen out of the house. I had a bag of onions. I had a whole bunch of onions. They stole my onions. I've had salt stolen out of the house. Yeah. I gotta lay down. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. So, I was serious. Yeah, the other day when I told the Popey Pope, go ahead and excommunicate me. Go ahead. My thoughts. My thoughts on abortion. I think it's a terrible choice for a woman to have to make, and I think it's a choice that a woman needs to make between her and her doctor and her own conscience, right? That's what I think. And the argument, oh, it's life, and all life is sacred. Well, so is that woman's life. That woman's life is sacred as well, right? And she's an actual person, not a potential person, right? A grouping of cells is not a person. It's a potential person. It cannot live outside of that woman's womb, right? And why should a woman be forced to gestate a potential life that she is not interested in taking care of, right? Oh, you put up for adoption. Oh, there's because all children that end up in the system get adopted. right? That should really, these people, they don't care about a child that's actually born, or about a woman who has a life. All they care about is this kind of like shaming and enslavement. And what it comes down to is that, you know, for zealot Christians, is it's like, oh well, maybe you're gonna kill Jesus because Jesus is gonna be born again. Oh my God, Jesus is gonna come back. He's gonna be, and it's like, okay, this is the faulty with that thought process, is that if that is supposed to happen, do you think God, this all-powerful God you say you believe in, is going to allow that? Right? If you say that you believe in God's plan, do you really think that anything that you do or that anybody does is going to stop? Right? Like, people who try to control other people's lives and say, oh, you need to give up and give over to, God's plan, God's plan. If you are manipulating somebody else's life and somebody else's choices, you're the one who is being arrogant and assuming the position of God. That you're assuming that you understand the mind of God. There is no larger arrogance than that. And that's a sin. Right? So get over it. What about viruses? Viruses are life. Are those lives sacred too? Should we not kill viruses? Right? What about bacteria? That's life. Should we not kill that? Is that life sacred too? Microorganisms. Single cell organisms. Should we not kill those? Life is sacred. I don't understand. I don't understand, like, how are these people really that unintelligent that they can't see that continuum, right? It's not your place. It's not your place to decide. Fungus is life. It's its own kingdom. If you have a fungal infection, should you not kill it because it's life and it's sacred? Blows my mind. Blows my mind. Particularly when I saw what I saw working with incarcerated youth. Where is your concern for the sanctity of those lives? Where is it? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. The other argument is, oh, the soul is present. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the soul is present inside of the vessel of the individual until the individual is separate from the vessel of the mother. I believe the soul is in tandem to the mother and that there is a spiritual connection. Yes, I do. But I don't believe that the soul inhabits. See, the soul exists. You exist before you're born, right? You're just talking about the vessel. That soul goes on. But you see, people think, oh, but you have to be baptized. That is just a gift. That sacrament is just that's just a gift for human beings to feel special and connected, because you need that. But it's not necessary for God. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You really think all stillborn babies are in limbo somewhere because God said, oh, they didn't pour some water on its head and say abracadabra? Are you kidding? Really? You that's what you believe? So stillborn babies are hanging out in limbo? Aborted fetuses? Aborted babies. Aborted fetuses are in limbo? What? Ridiculousness. Absolute ridiculousness. To say such shit and then also tell me that your God is loving and kind and compassionate. I don't think so. I don't think so. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me. These anti-choice people, especially when they talk out both sides of their mouths and their assholes at the same time, it's like, oh, you had an abortion, so now we're gonna try you for the death penalty. Okay, okay, go ahead. I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it. Bunch of hypocrites. Bunch of hypocrites. Keep having babies. Keep having babies. You're making humanity stupider. And thank God I don't have any children because they'd be smart. And then they have to put up with your stupid asses and your stupid kids' asses. Right? Oh. Oh my God. I sit up and drink some more coffee now. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. And the Catholic Church only recently decided that women couldn't have abortions, right? Only recently, right? And when did they decide that? They decided to start pushing that when birth rates of Muslims started going up, right? Because the superstition is that, oh, there's going to be a big old showdown, and it's going to be Muslim armies against Christian armies and the end of the world, and you got to have more Christians to fight the Muslims. That's really what it's about. Do you really think that children that are neglected are going to want to fight your stupid ass religious wars? Do you? It's all dumb. It's all really, really, really dumb. It is. And I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I do. I just don't think God can be described by any language that we have here on this planet. And I don't believe that the human mind has capacity to understand God in entirety. And that God must and will always remain, in large part, an abstract construct. Right? The explanation of God is an interpretation through this finite and flawed vessel that is the human body. Sassy agrees. That's what I think. I don't think anybody has the capacity to understand God or to know the mind of God. And so for anybody to say, oh, God says, that's an arrogance. That's an arrogance. Oh, you know what God says? Oh, okay. No. Striving to be close to God, to feel close to God. I believe that that is worthwhile. I'm talking about prayer. Yeah. But then you have to decide, what is prayer for you? Does it mean reciting a specific set of words over and over again? It can be. But is that truly what prayer is? Prayer is a state of heart. Prayer is an openness to the communication of something greater than yourself. It is opening your soul, your spirit, your mind, your heart, your life to things of awe and wonder, to miracle, being open to miracle, not expecting miracle, not trying to produce miracle, but being open to the possibility of miracle. It is an acknowledgement of the want and desire of the human spirit, and an acceptance that there is no control that you have over those wants and desires, and that fulfillment of want and desire is at the whim of something greater than the self. right? We are all worthy of existing. We exist actually, not potentially. A fetus, an embryo, a zygote, that is potentiality. That is not autonomy. And if we're going to assign such right to potential, then what about animals? Should they not have the same rights? They're actual beings with autonomy more so than a zygote or an embryo. Talk about feeling pain. Actual people feel pain. You know that. Oh, so, it's hard. It's hard for me. It's hard for me because I am pro choice across the board. Oh, and when I'm dealing with my period and thinking about these things and hearing about these things, people talking about these things, whatever, it's like just rubbing salt in the wound, you know? It's like my body. I'm going through this, right? The ovarian cysts that I have when they burst, and this was explained to me. I've gotten ovarian cysts since I was diagnosed with them when I was 11 years old. And I had one, I was having them frequently, and finally they did ultrasound, which was a very uncomfortable process. Yes, they stuck this triangular rod up my hoo-ha, and I had to drink like 2 gallons. I had to drink like 2 gallons of this fluid, and then they stuck this horrible wand up inside of me and pressed around and around. It was so painful. It was so painful. And, plus, yeah, yeah, it was very painful. It was extremely painful. It was like an assault. Um, and I'm not saying that I shouldn't have had the procedure. I'm not saying that. I'm glad that I did because they found what the issue was, right? But it was extremely invasive, especially for an 11-year-old girl. Those cysts, extremely painful. And that the one I had at that time was like this long, which is very, very big. Very, very big in comparison with what the size of your ovary is. They showed me a model of what it was a 2 scale model. And it's awesome. They found out that my uterus is tipped. My uterus is tipped forward and my ovaries are curved, right? Most what's normal is for the uterus to kind of be, upright, and the ovaries to be like antlers on the top, right? Instead, mine is more like a sheep's head with ram's horns, right? I got a battering ram. And so my fallopian tubes are curved. And so when my ovaries release the egg, it doesn't always make it down the fallopian tube, right? Sometimes it gets stuck in the fallopian tube, and or at the opening, because the ovary, there's an opening, right? The egg has to go past this, you know, it's not connected. It has to. So sometimes the egg doesn't make it, or it implants at a strange place, and then my body sees it as a foreign object, and it creates a sac around it, encapsulates it, right? So that's what the ovarian cyst is. The ovarian cyst is an egg that has not made it into my womb, right? And then my body attacks it as a foreign object and creates this pocket around it. And then eventually it bursts and my body reabsorbs the fluid, or it comes out, you know, in my period, which is really why my periods are really bad. When that cyst bursts, I have labor pains. So it's like every month when I have a cyst that bursts, I have those initial contractions. I have contractions. They're not cramps, they're contractions. So I'm 44. This has been going on since I was 11. So that's 33 years that I have 33 years times 12. Well, okay. Let's say 10. 33 years times 10, because it's not every month that I have a cyst. Most months. 33 years times 10, that's 3,300, right? It's 3,300 months that I've had labor pains. It's like having labor contractions that many times. How many women out there with those babies? Women want to shake their babies in my faces and try to make me feel guilty about not having children, or try to make me feel like I need to, oh, it's a shame that I don't want to teach their children. How many of them could walk in my fucking shoes? How many? Excuse me if I'm not interested in volunteering to take care of your babies. Excuse me. Excuse me. Right? When I have an egg that is in the fallopian, that's stuck in a fallopian tube or whatever, it still has the potential of being fertilized. That is called an ectopic pregnancy, when the pregnancy happens outside of the womb. And women die from them. Oh, but every life is sacred. And the fucking assholes from the GOP and all these fucking Bible-thumping idiots. Okay. For me, it's extremely personal. It's an assault upon my body. It's not about a whim of, oh, I just don't want to be pregnant. I don't want responsibility. I don't want to get fat and ugly. I'm already fat and ugly. I've taken care of a lot of kids. And I've gone through labor pains 3,300 times. Take this cup and drink. This is my blood. Take this cup and drink. This is my blood. So go ahead, Pope. Send me your fucking letter in Latin, because there's no bread that I want from your table. No crumb. No crumb. Drink of my cup.